Well, welcome. My name is Keith Snyder. I'm the Program Manager for Resource Education and Visitor Services here at Antietam National Battlefield. And on behalf of Acting Superintendent Phil Gruey and the entire park staff, we'd like to welcome you to Antietam National Battlefield and the historic Newcomer House. Today is a day to celebrate partnerships, collaboration, research, design, fabrication, and hopefully education and inspiration. We want to inspire our visitors both at the National Park and here at the Newcomer House. Joining us today for our program and in these wonderful seats up on this porch, is this just the most wonderful setting here? I might just spend the rest of the afternoon on this rocking chair. Joining us today for our program is Sean Butcher. He's the president of the board of directors for the Heart of the Civil War Heritage Area. Elizabeth Hughes, director. Yeah, go ahead. That's fine. Elizabeth Hughes, she's the director of the Maryland Historical Trust. Ranger Olivia Black, she is the volunteer and partnerships coordinator here at Antietam National Battlefield. Rachel Nichols is the Newcomer House manager. And Elizabeth Chateau, the executive director of the Heart of the Civil War Heritage Area. While not on the porch and not part of our program, I would be remiss if I did not introduce the incoming superintendent for Antietam National Battlefield, Andrew Banasek, in the back. Andrew starts his new assignment on Monday. Yes. And we are incredibly excited to have him join our team. We have a long list for Mr. Banasek for Monday morning. So we really appreciate it, Andrew. Thank you so much. Well, at this time, I'm going to turn it over to Sean. Thank you.
Thank you, Keith, and thank you all for being here. What a great day and a gorgeous day to be here at Antietam National Battlefield. I am Sean Butcher. I'm the president of the board of the Heart of the Civil War Heritage Area. And before I share a few remarks, I want to introduce a couple other guests. We have representing Senator Chris Van Hollen from his Western Maryland office, Nan Mann, who you'll hear from a little bit later. From within our heritage area, we have Delegate Christopher Eric Boucher from District 5, Representative, Maryland General Assembly. And we also have Delegate William Valentine, District 2A, representing Maryland General Assembly. Oh, there he is. This is a special place for all of us. And imagine your first time visiting as a traveler, as a tourist, or even if this place is in your backyard. This is a very special place actually for my wife and I. As a native West Virginian from the other side of the state, my wife and I came over to Shepherdstown just across the Potomac River for a conference. And on my bucket list was to visit Antietam National Battlefield. And it was actually here at this place where we said if we ever moved from our small town in rural West Virginia, this is the area we'd like to move to. Having no idea that would actually come to fruition 2 decades later or 1 later. So it's a very special place for us. It's also a very special place for the Heart of the Civil War Heritage Area. We have operated a 3-county visitor center from this location since 2010. We have a cooperative agreement with Antietam National Battlefield that was renewed in 2023 for another 10 years. Support from the battlefield as well as the Hagerstown, Washington County Visitors Convention Bureau supports basic operating costs. And as already alluded to and mentioned, we are grateful to Rachel Nichols, who manages the Newcomer House program, and the robust core of volunteers who staff the facility, which is open on weekends in May and daily starting in June. So if you get a chance, when you're visiting or when you're getting refreshments, let's thank all of the volunteers that are here, and some of them are actually with us. Let's give them a round of applause too. We are gathered in celebration of an award presented jointly to Antietam National Battlefield, as well as the Heart of the Civil War Heritage Area, for the exhibits that benefited from the Maryland Heritage Area project grants. The partnership between the state, federal, and local nonprofit entities is central to this recognition. And our mission is to preserve and promote the historic sites, towns, cultural landscapes, and diverse stories in Carroll, Frederick, and Washington counties. More will be shared about the exhibits and ways in which we engage visitors to battlefield exhibits later in today's program. But I want to make sure that I also introduce and ask to come forward Elizabeth Hughes, Director of the Maryland Historical Trust, to the podium. Elizabeth?
Thank you very much. Elizabeth Hughes, Director of the Maryland Historical Trust and Maryland State Historic Preservation Officer. I'm so excited to be here today. Our Board of Trustees, we have a governing board, just met this morning at the Claggett Center in Adamstown. And right when the meeting began, the lawnmowers started. So I think we might be safe here from that. But we had a wonderful meeting, and we have a number of our board members here today. I'm very pleased to be here today to present the 2024 Maryland Preservation Award for Excellence in Public Programming and Exhibits to the Heart of the Civil War Heritage Area and the National Park Service site, Antietam National Battlefield, for their collaborative project, engaging visitors through battlefield exhibits. Since 1975, the Maryland Historical Trust Board of Trustees has honored the outstanding preservation efforts of individuals, businesses, nonprofit organizations, local governments, and others who protect, steward, and share the historic places and cultural heritage that make Maryland unique. We have three of our board members here today that I'd like to recognize. Charlie Steck. Thank you, Charlie, for coming out. Doug Reed, next to, and Tom Patanzi. On these awards and made this selection. Over the course of 3 years, an interdisciplinary team from Antietam National Battlefield in the heart of the Civil War Heritage Area created independent but complementary exhibits that invite visitors to explore the meaning behind the Battle of Antietam, its causes, and its outcomes. The new museum design at Antietam National Battlefield includes interactive exhibits and universal accessibility features to ensure any visitor can explore 5 universal yet intangible concepts: conflict, terror, survival, freedom, and memory. The visitor's experience begins the moment they park, with a Civil War timeline embedded in the walkways leading up to the visitor-centered building, and a sculpture depicting events that occurred in the cornfield, which engages visitors with the phrase, "exposed to the fire of slavery and freedom," emblazoned across it. At Newcomer House, where we are today, visitors are able to stand in a space that witnessed the 1862 battle. The parlor exhibit features modified historic furnishings and offers the only civilian-focused interpretation of the battle. Set up as a front parlor and office as it might have appeared during the summer and early fall of 1862, one can imagine looking out the window and watching the armies converge on Sharpsburg by crossing over Antietam Creek. The exhibit uses a multimedia approach, complete with a custom soundscape of rolling wagons, the churning of the mill wheel, farm animal noises, a rocking chair, and marching soldiers and cannon fire from South Mountain in the distance. There are no physical barriers in the exhibit, allowing visitors to walk freely through the room and imagine how the Newcomer family may have felt while witnessing these events. Together, these two exhibits facilitate personal connections to the battlefield in an inventive and visceral way. On behalf of the Maryland Historical Trust, I'm pleased to present this Excellence in Public Programming and Exhibits Award to Olivia Black, Volunteer Program Coordinator for the Antietam National Battlefield, and to Elizabeth Chateau, Executive Director of the Heart of the Civil War Heritage Area. Congratulations, and thank you for being such wonderful stewards of this important place.
Ladies, stand closer together. Liz, closer. There you go. We gotta see you. Up close there.
Thank you so much. I know Nan Man from Senator Van Hollen's office also wanted to share something today.
Thank you.
And thank you, Elizabeth. I am truly honored to be here representing Senator Van Hollen, and he sends his regrets that he couldn't be here today to congratulate the award for the heart of the Civil War Heritage Area and the Antietam National Battlefield. I don't know who I should present the citations to. Liz? Okay. And again, if we didn't get it right, just let us know and we'll make a new one. But I've got the two to commemorate and to honor you for the award. And the citation reads as follows. This citation is presented to the Antietam National Battlefield and the heart of the Civil War Heritage Area on the occasion of its receiving the 2024 Preservation Award from Maryland Historical Trust. In recognition of its permanent exhibition that will offer visitors a more personal and inclusive experience of the Battle of Antietam, with appreciation for its tremendous leadership in promoting the value of historic preservation. So, would you like me to leave these up here, or would you like to come up and... Congratulations to you both.
All right, now we can see you all. Thank you very much. One more. Thank you.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Olivia Black. As I mentioned before, I'm the volunteer program coordinator here, as well as the primary liaison for our partnership with the Heart of the Civil War Heritage Area. I'm thrilled to be here today, receiving this award in conjunction with the Heart of the Civil War Heritage Area team. This is my 8th year working with this team, and they've been exceptional partners through that time. Since 2018, they've been taking steps to better engage visitors here at the Newcomer House, and the parlor exhibit is probably the most dynamic of those pieces. This room, which was engineered to ensure that visitors can enter, touch, and immerse themselves, is the only place at Antietam where people can experience what life looked like and sounded like for the civilians on the eve of battle. Details like the restored faux marbling on the fireplace and the immaculately crafted carpets contribute to this immersion, as does the original plantation desk, with a connection to the Newcomer family, generously donated by the family of Skip Miller. The Heart of the Civil War Heritage Area's work in crafting this exhibit is also in line with the vision of Antietam National Battlefield, staffed to tell stories in innovative ways that resonate with all people. In October of 2019, in preparation for the rehabilitation of the historic Park Visitor Center, staff began working with the exhibit design company, The Design Minds, partners, internal and external historians, and other stakeholders to completely re-envision the exhibits in the building. The staff also invited a Historians Advisory Board to be part of this process to provide additional expertise and diversity. A key moment was when a member of the Historians Advisory Board proposed centering the exhibits around 5 universal concepts, things that every person will have experienced, even if their experience of those things has been vastly different. As was mentioned before, those are conflict, terror, survival, freedom, and memory. Once we had completed this long, iterative process of designing the exhibits, we turned the plans over to Colorad for fabrication. The staff of that firm turned these 2-dimensional renderings into the beautifully crafted exhibits that visitors now experience today. Through both design and fabrication, the staff of Harper's Ferry Center, the National Park Service program focused on interpretive products, guided us through the complex process, managed the contract, and provided insights based on their years of experience. Re-envisioning the exhibits both at the Park Visitor Center and at the Newcomer House is a step towards expanding beyond an exclusive focus on the tactical and drawing on new interpretive techniques. We hope that in doing so, we can reach beyond our traditional audiences to connect with a more diverse set of visitors in meaningful ways. Now I'd like to recognize some of the contributors on the Park Service side to this project. I'm going to read off the list of names, and I'll ask any of those folks who are present to stand, and then we'll distribute the certificates later on. So the list of recipients includes the staff of Antietam National Battlefield, Jeff Grogan of Colorad, Lonnie Schwartz from the Design Minds, Jess Liptak from Harper's Ferry Center, and then the Historians Advisory Board includes Emmanuel Dabney from Petersburg National Battlefield, Jakaya Lowe from the National Park Service Park History Program, Yola Dance from Montpelier, Sharita Thompson, an independent historian, Dwight Pacathley, the former chief historian of the National Park Service, now retired, Jim Bruma from Shepherd University, Tracy Evans from Monocacy National Battlefield, Dean Herron, also with the National Park Service Park History Program, now retired, and John Hennessy, formerly of Fredericksburg and Spotsylvania National Military Park, also retired. So I thank all of these folks for their contributions to this project. Now I'm going to turn it back over to Liz for her.
And I'm actually going to invite Rachel to come up. She's the one who's really closest to everything that happens here at the Newcomer House. And then we're going to tag team a little.
Thank you, Liz.
I taped my remarks under here.
Yes, that's true.
It's such an honor for me to be here, and I've been serving with the Heart of the Civil War Heritage Area for over 10 years now, and you could not ask for better partners than we have in the National Park Service and the Antietam National Battlefield. And there's really not much more I can add today to the interpretation or the accolades for the exhibits that are being honored by the Maryland Historical Trust, and we thank you also for this award and all the honor that comes with it. Now, I often say that our cadre of volunteers who keep the house open provide the heartbeat of this very special home. And that's just, this is just one more opportunity for me to thank them. A number of them are here either in their green Park Service volunteer shirts or in the Heritage Area blue shirts, and they're always happy to show you around the house, and we thank them for their devotion and the time that they spend here with us. And also to everyone else that was involved in this particular exhibit, and for making that room come to life as I had always imagined, and for always going above and beyond just the lines on the contracts. The Newcomer House has become a place where all who enter can have an intimate feel for the days before, during, and after the Battle of Antietam. It's a place where we tread the very same floorboards and we gaze out the very same windows as did the Newcomer family. And I hope each of you will have a similar moment of reflection, if not today, then some other time when you come back. The house is going to be open today till 4 p.m. We have some knowledgeable docents here, so please stay, look around, have some refreshments, pick up some brochures so that you can be led to many, many, many more wonderful adventures. Now, Liz is going to be recognizing some of the participants in the Southwest Parlor, exhibit, and you will stand as she recognizes your names, and a little bit of logistics after the ceremony, immediately following the ceremony. We ask all of you who are receiving certificates today, so the people that Liz reads and the people that Olivia just mentioned, ask them to come immediately up and gather around the porch so that we can capture this moment forever. I want to thank you all so much for being here today.
Thanks, Rachel. So as you've heard now a couple of times since, and thank you to the Maryland Historical Trust and to everybody who's gathered here and who has been a part of any of these projects. As you know now, since 2010, we have found this to be, as Sean suggested, a place that beckons. As you all know, it's a place that welcomes. And it welcomes our presence here as the Heart heart of the Civil War heritage area and welcomes the visitors who stop here. This house has always offered an immersive moment to step into a house on the battlefield that witnessed the conflict. But our new parlor installation takes that immersion just a step further. So be sure you do stop by. Everybody's invited to visit afterwards, and we've even got some cookies from the local Mennonite bakery. You can't turn those down. So you have to visit the whole house to get to them in the back. And as Rachel suggested, gaze out the windows when you're in the parlor. Contemplate that experience of being in the path of war, hearing cannon fire, seeing and talking with the troops on the march, and knowing that life will soon change dramatically. Many of you have recognized that this is a part of a long-term plan. In 2019, we engaged with the help of Preservation Maryland. Thank you very much, Nick. Nick Redding from that group is here, and a number of other partners. They're all recognized in this room to my right on a little panel. We were able to put together a visitor experience plan, and little by little, small increments, little bite-sized chunks, as we were able to find the funding, we've been bringing that plan to fruition. And the parlor installation is really was just a big goal for us to get to that point. We have other increments yet to be achieved and funding yet to make those things happen. But it's been, you're seeing the expression of a plan that's been inspired and approached methodically. As recognized here, everybody I'm about to make note of has given very generously and in ways that I can't begin to acknowledge. Rachel alluded to this. There is generosity behind the immediate tangible things that I can say, things that go beyond the dotted line on the contract. And part of that generosity is in the fact that our volunteers and the experts who help bring this to fruition are here today, and I know they'd love to talk to you about some of the decision making that went into what you're about to experience if you haven't stepped in there yet. Just like Olivia did, I'm going to call out your name or your firm. Please stand if you are that person or associated with that firm, and we will give you these certificates in follow-up. So first of all, I want to recognize Ruth Bielabaki with Ion Design, and Ion Design, and the next name we're about to mention is part of that group that's been with us from the very beginning. So thank you, Ruth. And then next in line, David Guiney with Interpretive Direction, and works closely with Ruth. And these two are really the champions who've been with us. David, literally since 2010, we began having conversations, and we're just so proud that we have friends who have stuck with us, and we're going to keep on calling on you. We also want to recognize Andrew Chamberlain, who is our furnishings consultant working with Ion Design. Thank you very much, Andrew. And let's see who's next. Michael Tranchitella, he's up front here with the camera. Michael did our soundscape for us, and he actually was also behind the video that you'll see, which was another one of those increments, and we appreciate you being here with your camera tonight as well. Jay Lines couldn't be with us. He was a researcher that really helped us hone in on some of the aesthetic choices and understand more about the Newcomer family. Some of our big questions had to do with how pious were they as Dunkers, and he sort of leaned us in this direction. Did they adopt more of the Pennsylvania German traditions that came through Marion Ankeny, who married into the Newcomer family? And we followed her leanings in some of the choices, and that's evident, I think, when you visit the room. And Deborah Weir, did Deborah make it today? Deborah, right in front. Deborah was, she did the faux painting on the firebox in the parlor, and used as her example the extant graining that actually does still survive on mantles upstairs. And thank you so much for being here, Deborah. Dennis Kubicki, I don't think Dennis is here, but Dennis is one of the volunteers who helped us in our planning workshop that really set us forth on the with the choices that we made and how we wanted to present this room as a place where it served as a family parlor and perhaps as a business place, an office for business. And we appreciate Dennis's role in that, and also the Skip Miller, whose name you've heard before. Skip also was in that initial workshop for laying out some of our intent, and Skip and his siblings are behind the donation of our feature in the room, which just, nothing's coincidence, right? They happen to have, through their mother's estate, the perfect period, and possibly with provenance associated with the Ankeny family, Mary and Ankeny, who married Joshua Newcomer, the plantation desk that you see in there. So thank you, everybody, for your role in this. And I believe this concludes everything that we needed to do today. Please do visit, but if your name got called or you're with one of those firms, make sure pronto, before you do anything else, gather up here in front of the porch. And again, thanks so much for coming. Thank you, Maryland Historical Trust, and thank you to everybody who brought these projects to fruition.
Hurrah, hurrah.